Alright guys, I'm back. I'm on the river. Got a couple guys back here with me, a couple buddies. Anyways, I'm gonna be trying jigging for walleye. So far, I've done pretty well this season. Haven't put too much out yet. My buddy Ahem, you seen that on Winseed Outdoors, right? Check that out. He caught 2 the other day, which he did really well on. Hopefully I do well also. The water seems pretty clear. It's pretty smooth right now. The wind is just subtle. Overcast conditions right now. I feel like I'm gonna get one. Through this video right now, I'm actually gonna teach you guys how to jig. I'm actually gonna show you what I'm using, how I'm doing it, what the techniques are, and I hope that you guys catch fish just like I do also. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon, and make sure you're fishing off the hook. Peace. Alright guys, this is what I usually use right here. I would suggest, if you're a beginner, I would suggest using a 1 ounce jig. The reason why is because it's really heavy and you can actually sink it to the bottom really well. With me, depending on the wind direction and how things go, I like to use a 3/4 ounce jig. It's a little bit lighter, but it also slams the bottom. When there's no wind, you can also actually go with a 5/8, which is really light. Now, preference in color, it's all about confidence. It has nothing to do with what you think is color. Me, I like the limes. They do really well, but it's all about confidence, because I hear about people using all different colors, all different shades, everything. Me, my personal preference, these greens. Like the Pimp Daddy, the Bloody Mary, the Lime Truces. Those there are my favorite. This chartreuse ice here, that right there is the fire. If you get the chance to get some of these are made by Lunker City. They're really well. These are 4-inch finesse minnows. If the water is dirty, I like to use a black worm. So anything like that, grub with the twisted trail works really well. Has a lot of action under the water. Even if it stays still, the current will pull it and actually create a lot of action in there. So anyway, so I'm gonna start casting with them. I'm gonna teach you guys the technique, so stay tuned. All right guys, I just showed you what I like to use on the river with all my plastics, my jigs and so on, what weight, depending on wind. Right now, well actually the Detroit River the current always runs this way. So what I like to do is throw about a 1 o'clock, and then I let it sink to the bottom. And as it sinks to the bottom and it hits the bottom, you want to feel that thud. I'll show you guys that in a moment with the tip of the rod and all the action and everything. Once it hits the bottom, you want to just kind of lift, let the jig hit the bottom, and then reel in the slack, and then lift and repeat the same thing. Just let the jig hit the bottom, reel up the slack over and over. Now speed and tempo is all about what you like it or how you feel. You know, some people like to go with a quicker tempo with a lower bounce, or a slow tempo with a higher bounce. It just depends on what you feel like. They all work. I've seen people use them everywhere, all different kinds of techniques. Hopefully you guys can watch mine and learn from that. Stay tuned. All right guys, I'm gonna start off with the 3/4 ounce jig with the black worm. Shout out to Ahem. Using the black worm, instant results. Just kidding. Anyways, I'm gonna show you guys how I'm jigging this. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna cast it about 1 o'clock because the current is running this way. So I cast it out. As soon as it hits the water, I want to close my bail. Now let the jig sink to the bottom. Usually it takes about 10-11 seconds depending on where the depth is. Right around where I'm at, it's about 10 seconds. Now keep an eye on that tip up there. I'll show you. There you go. You see that thud? Now you want to pick it up and you want to feel that thud again. Pick it up, and it lands on the bottom. You can see the tip of my rod hit the, as soon as it lands, it pauses. And one of these times when you pick that up, you're gonna have a fish on it. But you want to be consistent, continuously over and over. So what I'm doing is picking up the jig, letting it hit the bottom, reel up the slack. Pick up the jig, let it hit the bottom, reel up the slack. Pick up the jig, and repeat over and over. And if you do that, you will produce a fish. Now hopefully let's get one. All right, let's do this again. So I'm reeling it in. Still with that same black worm. Instant results, 3/4 ounce jig. Cast it out. Close your bail as soon as it hits the water. Cast it about 1 o'clock. Now I'm waiting for that jig to hit the bottom. You keep it on the tip of your rod. When it hits the bottom, you'll see a thud, or you feel a thud going down your rod in your hand. There you go. Now you want to pick it up the jig and let it hit the bottom, reel up the slack. Pick up the jig, let it hit the bottom, reel up the slack. Pick up the jig, let it hit the bottom, reel up the slack. Over and over. And that's how you vertical jig from shore for walleye. Up, down, slack. Up, down, slack. Up, down, slack. You want to make sure that your line stays tight all the time. So guys, I hope you guys learned something. You know, it took me many years to actually learn that also. And I watched a lot of people on shore, a lot of good people that were down here. They taught me a lot, and you can actually learn from them also, especially the locals in that area. Just go look at the angler, see what they're doing, sit back, enjoy their fishing, and maybe you can learn something. If you guys have any questions or need any answers, anything like that, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments below. I'll try to answer everything that I can. But stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon, and make sure your fishing's off the hook. Peace.